It's June 23rd, 2020, and this is Sketchworks NewsBrake. The news stops here. I'm Brian Troxel, and welcome to the Brian Troxel Autonomous Zone. The Brian Troxel Organized Protest Zone. I may not have thought this all the way through. President Trump is furious because his major campaign rally in Tulsa turned out to be a dud. His campaign estimated as many as 1 million people requested tickets. Fewer than 7,000 people showed up to the BOK Center. To put it another way, more people showed up for a Nickelback concert held there 5 years ago. Hordes of K-pop fans and TikTok users are both claiming they're responsible for the turnout because they flooded the Trump campaign with bogus RSVPs. Now, for those of you too old to know what K-pop and TikTok are, let me rephrase with terms you might understand. Hordes of boy band fans and AOL dial-up users are both claiming they're responsible for the turnout because they flooded the Trump campaign with bogus RSVPs. Still too old to understand? Okay. Hordes of Elvis fans and people who sit in rocking chairs outside the local general store are both claiming they're responsible for the turnout because they flooded the Trump campaign with bogus RSVPs. 6 campaign workers for President Trump who worked on organizing the rally have tested positive for COVID-19. But don't worry, the president took appropriate measures to ensure safety. He had the 6,200 rally attendees sign a form stating they would not sue him if they contracted COVID-19. That's thoughtful. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's nurse said he spent the weekend resting comfortably, enjoying a Father's Day Zoom call with his kids, before falling asleep while watching Celebrity Family Feud. Show me Tara Reid! Last week it was announced that Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben will be taking their millions and fulfilling their dreams of retiring to the Caribbean. Aunt Jemima will be replaced by that cool wine aunt, and Uncle Ben will be replaced with Uncle Dave, who isn't really your uncle. He and your dad just go way back, and your parents feel sorry for him because he's been down on his luck since the late 80s. And please, nobody mention that time he tried to hit on your sister. Another 1.5 million Americans applied for unemployment benefits last week. Many conservatives fear that people on unemployment will grow lazy and have no incentive to go back to work. Here to comment is NewsBrake correspondent and unemployed American, Allie O'Neill.
Don't make me do stuff!
Why didn't I think of that? Thank you, Allie O'Neill. Sleeping in. In world news, Canada and Mexico have stated they will keep their borders to the United States closed until, well, they want to see what happens in November first. The White House is easing up on some of its coronavirus-related restrictions for the first time since March. You no longer need to have your temperature checked before you can go inside. Your loyalty will still be thoroughly checked, however. Concert promoter Live Nation is trying a drive-in concert series as a way to get people to see shows during the coronavirus pandemic. The first concert didn't go so well. The venue turned into a demolition derby as people raced to get out when they realized Nickelback was on stage. We may be on the verge of a second wave of the coronavirus. The United States now makes up 1 out of 5 infections worldwide. However, the company that runs Olive Garden is getting rid of the pandemic-related pay cuts it forced its top executives to take, so it can't be all bad. The glorified appetizer of film and television awards will not let something like a pandemic get in the way. The Golden Globes will hold next year's ceremony in February. It's a month later than usual, but chances are you won't notice because it's the Golden Globes. Last Thursday, the head writer for the soap opera The Bold and the Beautiful said, because of the pandemic, lifelike blow-up dolls will be used by actors for sex scenes on the show. A practice, sadly, which I've been doing in my personal life for quite some time. Mary Trump, the president's niece, plans to release a tell-all book next month titled, "Uncle Donnie Never Gave Me Anything. my last chance to capitalize on my last name. Uncle Donnie responded by saying, "No, you can't do that. You signed a non-disclosure agreement, and I don't even know who you are." Niece Mary isn't the only one close to the administration releasing a book. Former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton wants to cash in too. His book is titled, "I Never Testified, but if I had testified, this is all the horrible stuff I would have said." Colleges are announcing openings for fall in an attempt to gather more students, despite not actually knowing to what capacity they can truly reopen. Susan Donarski, a University of Michigan economist, wrote on Twitter that if colleges tell the difficult truth now, many students will decide to take a year off. They might get well-paying jobs in the trades. They might discover they don't actually need to go to college at all, and that would really put a damper on our billion-dollar industry. Laws that legalize marijuana may lead to more deaths in car crashes. Research in the Journal of the American Medical Association, the JAMA, estimates nearly 7,000 more people will die if every state legalizes marijuana. A counter-study published by High Times magazine came to a simpler conclusion. Dude. Police in San Francisco caught a mountain lion that spent 2 days roaming through the city. They say it's very unusual for a mountain lion to be in San Francisco for that long. The animals usually leave within a day when they find out how much it costs to live in San Francisco. The Environmental Protection Agency has approved the release of genetically modified male mosquitoes into the Florida Keys, now through 2022. This just reinforces my long-standing position of never visiting Florida for any reason. Staying in the Sunshine State, which, again, I will never do, a Florida man with the tattoo of a machete on his face assaulted a friend of his with a machete. Can't say you didn't see that one coming. You know, I gotta blame the victim on this one. If you have friends with weapons tattooed on their face, it might be time to rethink some of your life decisions. British pharmaceutical company Glaxosmithkline has issued a recall of children's Robitussin and children's Dimetapp. The products have incorrect dosing cups in their packaging and could result in accidental overdoses. The company says symptoms of overdose may include impaired coordination, elevated blood pressure, dizziness, constipation, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and hallucinations. It basically turns kids into 70-year-olds. Or me on a Friday night. That's all for Sketchworks NewsBrake. We'll be back next week, and we hope you are too. I'm Brian Troxel. Say hi to your mom for me. I really didn't think this through.
There's plenty of farmers who get paid to not farm. This really isn't all that different.